Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this really fun Christmas ornament, but it can really be used any time of year and in lots of different ways. Now before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. Now, what's really great about these is you don't need a ton of supplies. You probably already have everything you need on hand anyways. I used cardstock in a bunch of different colors, and you can use any colors, patterns, or designs that you want to for this. Any weight cardstock will work as well, so whatever you have in hand is great. Now, I'm going to use my Cricut to cut these, but honestly, you could cut out circles using a hole punch or a stamp or whatever kind of punch you have. So you don't necessarily need the Cricut, but it does make it a lot easier because you do need to have some triangles scored in the edges to make it easier to fold for yourself. Now, having a bone folder can be helpful for this as well, just to get some crisper lines, but you don't need that. You can use the edge of a pencil, a ruler, a squeegee, whatever have you on hand will work. And then you're just gonna need some glue. Now, I use hot glue because it dries really quickly, but you can use Elmer's glue if you're doing this with your kids, craft glue, whatever you may have on hand. You can even use double-sided tape if you want to, so you have a lot of options for how to make this, and you can make this in any size that you want. I'm making mine in 3-inch circles, but obviously bigger ones are going to give you a bigger ball, smaller ones will give you a smaller ball. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to make this, and we're going to have a really fun little Christmas ornament, table decoration, whatever you want to do with this.
This is truly one of the easiest things that you can make. It's so fun, and there are a lot of ways to do it because you can use different papers, different sizes, lots of easy things to do with this. But it's so simple to set up in Design Space, and you can do it totally for free, which I love. So we're going to use two shapes. We are going to use a circle, and we are going to use this specific triangle. We need to use what's called an equilateral triangle, and if you don't know what equilateral means, it's just that all sides of the triangle are the same. So you'll need to make sure that you have that. Now, we are going to use these two shapes to create this ornament. The first thing that I am going to do is change the colors on these just because they're hard to see in black. I just don't love that. So we'll just make them festively red and green. Now, the first thing that you need to do is decide what size you want your circle to be. The larger the circle, the larger your finished ornament is going to be. And I made a couple different sizes of this, but I usually like to go anywhere from about a 2 to a 3-inch circle. But since I want this to be bigger so you guys can see it, I'm going to make my circle 3 inches. So I'm just going to go up here to the top and change that to 3. Now what we need to do here with our triangle is we want to make sure that it fits fully on our circle. So I'm going to stretch this out. Now you want to make sure when you're doing this that this lock here at the top is closed. If it's not, you'll be able to do things like this where you change the scale, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to undo this so that our scale hasn't been changed because we don't want to do that. And you want to fit your triangle within your circle. So you'll see here that it's poking out the edge. We don't want it to do that. So you're just going to reduce that size a little bit. Now you'll notice that this triangle is measuring obviously smaller than our circle because it's going to be a slightly smaller size. So you can't really judge it by doing a 3-inch triangle or anything like that. So I just kind of pull it in until it's pretty well in. If it's not perfect, it won't matter that much, but you want it to be pretty close. This is too far away from your edge. You've got too much of a gap, so you need to pull it out a little bit. If it goes over the gap a little, it's not a big deal. But what I like to do from here is I'm going to select this design. I'm going to go to align, and I want to align the top just so I make sure that it's centered on the top. And then I like to take this and I also will align it so that it's centered horizontally. That way everything's really even, and you can see that my triangle is within my circle. Now I want to take my triangle and I'm going to change the function of it, so your operation, to score, because it's going to make fold lines for this. Now what's great about this is you can literally do this with any of your machines. Even the Joy can work because you can use your foil as a score. So instead of choosing score for your function, you would choose foil and use your foil tool, and that can score for you. Now, before we move on, you want to make sure you select both your triangle score lines and your circle, and you want to attach them using the little paper clip. and that's going to tell Design Space to hold everything in place. Now, before we move on, I want to save this. I'm going to call it Circle Ornament, which is not spelled right. Circle Ornament, and save it. That way, just in case something goes wrong, I don't have to worry about it. Now, you'll notice that we only made one circle. The reason we do that is because we can just use project copies over here on our make screen, and that is going to give us a lot more option as to like how many we cut, and we don't have to overrun Design Space with too many things. Now, I want to do a 20 circle version of this, but what I want is I want 4 different colors of paper. So I'm going to tell this to make me 5 project copies. So right up here at the top, I'm going to say 5 project copies, click apply, and it's going to put my 5 circles on my screen. Now I can cut this 4 times with 4 different papers and not have to worry about any issues as far as like having to reload or anything like that. It's just going to cut 5 of each on whatever paper I put in. You can do as many as you want. Maybe you want them all the same. You can tell this that you want 20 project copies and you want the same. You're going to have a couple sheets of paper. Maybe you only want to make 2 colors. You can click 10 and it will do 10. So whatever you want to do, however many you want to cut is fine, but having an even number is important. Now, like I said, I'm going to do a 20, but there are ones you can do with just 4 pieces, 8 pieces, 10 pieces. You can make them huge. So you just have to keep in mind that you've got to have like even numbers, and you kind of have to play with it a little bit because it is a circle. So I'm going to cut these out. We're going to be using our scoring wheel for this, but you can also use a scoring stylus. That works as well if you have the Explore. And like I said, you can use your foil tool with your Joy machines. So let's head over to the Cricut and get these cut out, and I'll show you how easy this is to assemble.
I want to show you a little secret that you can use with your Cricut Maker. So if I were to use my scoring tool, I'm going to have to switch it out for every single page, which would be 4 pages. So I'm going to instead use my scoring stylus. I just told it to change the tool in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to put this just like I do a pen, put it down till it clicks, close the clamp, and then I'm going to load on to my mat my colored cardstock that I'm going to use. Now, these are not traditional Christmas colors, but I really wanted this to stand out on film for you so you could see it better. So that's why I'm going to use some bright blues and a really fun holographic paper. Once it's done, you can go ahead and unload, and then you can pop your little circles off. My mat's not super sticky, so I'm able to pop them off pretty easy without bending them. And then I'm going to load the other 3 colors in, get those cut out, and then we'll show you how to assemble. Now that you have all of your little discs cut out, we are going to take these and fold them. So if you've got ones that are the same color on both sides, does not matter which way you fold the edges, but you're gonna wanna make sure that you fold them all the same way. So if I fold down, all 3 sides fold down. If I fold up, all 3 sides fold up. I'm gonna fold down for this one just so you can see. Now, if you want really nice, crisp, clean folds, I recommend a bone folder, which is just this little plastic piece. They call it a bone folder because at one point in its life it was made out of bones, but now you see this nice fold, and you'll do that to each of your sides of your disc. I'll do this one really quick, and then I'll show you how to do the colored one so that you get a good understanding of that one, because that needs to be folded a specific way. So if you have ones that are only designed on one side, those need to be folded to the pattern or design or color. So you need to fold those ones in towards your design. If you don't, your design won't show because they glue together like this so that the tabs are out. So when you're doing ones like this, fold in towards the color, and then they will match up perfectly well with the others. But you want to remember, fold in to the color so that way they will come out right. So now you can see that we've got these little triangular discs. So I'll fold the rest of these. I don't think you need to watch me do that. And then I'll show you how to assemble. Got them all folded. So now you want to pull out 10 in any like colors that you want to. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to have an uneven number. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Nobody will notice. If you're really weird about having them all be like different colors, that's fine. You can do that. But for this one, we're just doing these. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one tab and you're going to line it up with another tab. You can use any glue that you want, but for the sake of this video and quickness, I'm going to use some hot glue because this will dry super fast, which I need because I want to show you how to do this and I don't want to spend 7 hours. But if you're doing this with kids, Elmer's glue will work fine. Basically any glue that will glue cardstock together will work great. So you can see I glued 2 tabs together. Now, here's where you're going to have to really think before you put your next design piece together, because we're making a line. So I want to glue it to this piece right here that is this triangular like tab, and I want to glue that one there, and then this one will go here, and then this one will go here. So you're going to make a line with these. So I'm just going to glue, and I'll show you one more, and then I'll kind of speed up the line so you don't have to watch me do like the whole thing. But you're just lining up your tabs, and I like the hot glue because I can like slide this a little bit if I need to. And don't worry if they're not perfectly lined up. It's okay. Nobody will notice. So once I've got that one glued down, so one more, I'm going to glue it here so you can start to see it's going to form a line. It'll be a little more obvious with the 4th one on here, and then I'll speed everything up. But I just want you to get the gist of like what I'm doing. I'm just gluing them together to create a line. So then the next one will go here, then so forth and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all glued together, and then I'll show you our next steps. Now you see my line. So I'm gonna let this dry for just a few seconds because I don't want it to fall apart. That would be sad, but I don't wanna make sure that that glue is pretty well held and it feels like it's all cool, so we should be good. Now what you'll do is you're gonna take your line and you're gonna glue these 2 together, and you start to see your ball shape, kind of see the general gist of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put some glue on this guy, and then you're gonna connect them like so, so you have a ring. Now, be careful not to get hot glue on your finger like I just did. Once you have your ball or your ring here, this is kind of the start of your ball, you're gonna make a pizza slice. You'll need 5 of these. You can use 5 of any color that you want to, does not matter. And what you'll do is you're going to glue them tip to tip, so point to point. And you're going to do that with 5. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this one to the white one. I got a little glue on my finger, but that's all right. And like I said, you're going to go tip to tip. So we're going to go around to this side next, and we're going to just go in a circular design. And you're going to glue one right here. Get those together. I keep getting glue on my fingers. Luckily, it's not super hot, so that's not too bad. I'm not burning the heck out of my finger. I did not get some of these lined up perfectly, but this will just be proof that you really don't have to get them perfect, just close. And then this, and now this guy will go right in here. And it may seem like he isn't gonna fit, but he will. He will fit. You just kind of, it'll dome up a little, and that's what you want it to do. So I'm going to go ahead and glue one side. I'm not going to do both sides at once. I'm just going to go with one side, get him lined up, and press together. And then, like I said, when you do this one, it'll dome up a little bit, which is exactly what you want it to do. So I'm going to glue this guy to this one. And now, can you see how he's kind of a dome? And he's gonna sit on top of this to make your ball. It'll make more sense in a second. So again, I'm just gonna kind of make a pattern out of these. They don't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to be, because you're using an odd number with an even number of colors, but I think that looks pretty good. That's like a decent pattern. So again, I'm gonna glue these together. You do not need to watch me do this. Now this is where it it can get a little tricky, but I promise it's still very, very easy. I'm gonna fold these down a little bit just so I can kind of get a little tab going. Now this, you kind of want to figure out which way you want it. I don't want like this piece to be right against that piece, so I kind of can stagger those a little bit. So I'm going to glue the white to this darker blue here. So just the same thing. It's nothing like astronomically difficult. This is pretty easy. And again, you want to line them up best you can. And then I'm going to glue this next tab to this one. Now granted, those are the same color, but it's fine. Again, if you want them different colors, that's on you. Make a bunch of colors. I just did a few just to give you an idea of how this will look, but you can really go crazy and make every disc a different color. You can make it all one color, so there's a lot you can do, but you can see all I do is I just glue them together and match them up. So now I need to match up this one with this one, which again, same color, it's fine. Really, again, not a big worry. Now I will say this does get a little more difficult to do as you go further down the line because you've got less like give with your ball, but just keep going, trust the process, and it will be perfectly fine. And then I've just got these two last ones, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. So let me glue these ones together, and then we'll get the other side. All right, we're gonna do the other side. Same thing, nothing changes. I just wanna make sure that those little like holographic pieces don't line up. And that's all I do. I just kind of figure out where I want stuff to sit. Again, I don't care if it's perfect. It doesn't have to be. And it's just kind of a random pattern. So that's all we're doing. We're just making a fun random pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll glue this one to this one. Get them lined up. And pinch together. And I'll just go around and glue this back together all the way around, just like I did the other one. And then we'll have our finished ornament. And simple as that, we have this super fun ball ornament. Now you can simply grab a ribbon and either glue it to this, or you can punch a hole in one of the little tabs to hang it from. However you want to hang that is fine. I've used these two as like just table decorations where you just put them in a bowl, but there's lots of ways to use these. I'll give you guys a better close-up look at this.
Now remember, you can make these much smaller, much bigger, however you want to make these with whatever colors you want to do. And what's great is they don't just have to be for Christmas. This one I probably would say it's Christmassy, but you could use it at Easter, all times, whatever and wherever you want to. So just have fun with this. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Be sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any fun, crafty content we have coming. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.